Okay, let's get right into this. You guys know how this works. Attorney Walter Rudolph Hnot III, the most viewed and subscribed to disability attorney in America. And bottom line is this: we're going to do questions and answers, but there's some rules. What are the rules? Rules are pretty simple and straightforward. Use a fake name throughout this process. We just do surface level communication stuff. We might go a little bit deeper, but I don't know your whole claim. There's no way for me to give you the perfect answer. Also, when you call in, make sure you have your legal question ready. Don't wiggle waggle your way to it. No story mode. No story mode. Get right to it. How does it work? You dial the 407-279-1754. Again, the 407-279-1754. I just put in the chat section below. Now, with that said, when I'm on the phone, you can't keep calling in while I'm on the phone. And the reason why is because there's only one of me. I know some people get angry when I don't respond to like their chat or messages, comments later. You would need hundreds of Walters, Attorney Hnots, to go ahead and answer all those questions. So I do these live sessions on Mondays and Thursdays. The way it works is you call in, I answer your question, you get about 5 to 7 minutes, then we go to the next person. I do it for about 30 minutes. Why? The reason I do it for about 30 minutes is that it's exhausting. A lot of you guys think like, oh, you can just push. I've done 2 videos already. The third one, I'm already pretty tired, and it is 11:39 p.m. All right, so here's how this is going to work. Pretty simple and straightforward. When you call in, have your question ready. And also, try not to hide information. That's becoming more and more of a big thing. People will hide information when they call during the live, and then they'll hire me down the line. Like with that little 1 hour hire thing, there's a little thing in the comment section with how to go ahead or in the bio section with how to hire me for an hour. But people will hire me for the hour thereafter, and then I'll realize it's a totally different situation. So just be a little more truthful when you guys do these up front about details that I should know so I can give you a more direct answer. All right. I'm now going to open up the option to call in. I'm going to put it into the thingy right here, and we're going to take the first call. Let's go ahead and get the phone ready, and we should be good to go. Okay, good. And now we wait for the first call. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. What is your question?
I have a question about whether or not we could hire another attorney to represent us in my daughter's disability case.
So, okay, yeah. So basically, you can switch attorneys, but most new attorneys don't want to take the claim unless the prior attorney withdrew for rep and fees. So the way this usually comes down is that, and I'm just going to say it the way it is, somebody will usually get like an insurance attorney, or insurance company will recommend an attorney, and the attorney doesn't do much, or it's a giant big box firm and they don't do much custom work or communicate much. People get pissed. Then at that point, you want to switch. There's 2 things.
We didn't show for the hearing.
That's not good.
We were humiliated. We had to be in person because it was my daughter. She's 15.
Wow. Okay. So, all right. So bottom line is this. Yeah, you can request that they basically withdraw for representation and fees, because if you don't get rep and fees, some other attorney won't actually take the claim. And the reason why is if another attorney has to share the fee, it doesn't make the claim worthwhile. Now, especially kid claims or SSI people, attorneys do not want them. Like under 50 years old, attorneys don't want them because the likelihood of approval rate is extremely low. So before you terminate the relationship with this person, just make sure you've kind of buttered up a different attorney to go ahead and look at the claim, appreciate the claim, want to take the claim. Because the problem is, and I'll tell you this ahead of time, if you're under 50 or it's a child claim or an SSI claim, most attorneys do not want it. The past 8 claims for SSI, the past SSI claimants that we've won, got to check on, we lost money on. So just keep in mind, like the SSI claimants, they no longer work. It used to work where we would win them and then make money, and then we'd win them and then we'd only make money on half. Now we don't make money. The last 8, we haven't made money. So, and I'm getting a lot of pressure from my staff to even stop working with the homeless office because it just financially, it's literally a lot of work, and we win them and we still lose money. So, yeah.
So what do I do? Because the judge talked about she would give us a 75-day waiver. We don't have to wait the 75 days. But she said the lawyer has to sign something and then send it to me. So I called the large firm and They said they would send it, but now that's been over a week and radio silence. They do not return. I don't call frequently either. I called on Monday or Tuesday, and that was, still silence.
So, okay. So did you reach out to the SSA and ask them if they received a withdrawal letter?
No, this was just a letter. They said that the judge said they know what to do. They have to sign a letter so that we don't have to wait an additional 75 days, and she would squeeze my daughter in at the end of her stay.
Okay. So bottom line
is, I don't even know how to schedule another appointment or a hearing without this attorney.
Oh, you don't need the attorney to schedule another one. Like the judge will automatically schedule another one. If you waive the 75 days, because they're required by law to give you 75 days, if you waive that, you're on a fast track for having another hearing quickly. Do you know if all of your medical records are in at this point?
They are. Everything is in. I had actually told the judge because the lawyer said, I got an offender bender. I'm just going to call it in. He never filed the proper paperwork to even represent us. And I looked at the judge and I said, we are perfectly ready to go. Mm-hmm. I waived the right to representation. Annie waived her right to representation. We are good.
Okay.
We are good. And she said, I do not feel comfortable doing a case for a minor without representation.
Yeah, because you guys don't know the rules. that's the reality.
That's yeah. I mean, my kid has signed her last name Esquire since 4th grade because she plans on being a lawyer. She's
that's awesome.
Brilliant. She just her brain. She always says, I can't do what I want to do physically, but mentally, that's the one place that they can't stop me.
That's awesome. So all right. So bottom line is this. Okay. So first and foremost, call the SSA, the hearing office, and get them to send you a copy of the exhibit disc. That's the old phrasing we use where they email you basically the ABDEF folders, which is what the judge uses to adjudicate the claim. Whichever attorney wants to take it going forward, they've got to review those to see if they like the claim. So when it comes to the buttering up the attorney, you want to be able to email that to them so that they can review the claim. The next thing to keep in mind
exhibit disc?
Yeah, exhibit disc. Yeah.
Okay.
And so the next thing you want to do is basically have a couple of things ready to answer right up front. When you talk to the attorney real quick, what are the top 5 impairments? Why is the child, and how old is the child?
She's 15.
Okay.
Severe scoliosis.
Okay, gotcha. So then the next thing at that point is going through basically why the child would not be able to go ahead and perform in a regular academia environment. So like special schools, special teacher questionnaires and RFCs from doctors, having all that stuff ready to go. Then the next thing is...
Here's my question.
Yeah.
Quick question. She missed 45 days of school the year prior, 30 days of school, 24 days of school this last year. They just started this week. School has said they are willing to accommodate her because everything is done online. Mm-hmm. As long as she keeps her grades up, they're going to keep her within that school.
Okay.
But I have, it says on her records this many days. Our only hiccup is it doesn't mark days that she leaves early. They keep that as a full day.
Okay. So is she 504 forward IEP? Is she all set up?
No, they don't. They don't want to do it because she's 4.0 in all honors.
Okay.
But she's got a complete S curve in her spine, has the elevator key, can't sit for long periods, can't stand for long periods. She's in pain all the time.
So what the judge is saying to you is go get an attorney to build this thing and prep everything so that the judge has the bullet points so that the appeals counsel with a higher AAJ, appellate administrative judge, doesn't go ahead and reverse what the ALJ is doing. That's what the judge is trying to tell you here, because there's something in that file, which is probably the grades and maybe something else, that is making the judge hesitant about the child's capacity to do academia. Because remember, if you got an all-star kid, then one of the big things that the judges use as a like a balancing point on the equation is the child getting along with others, able to do schoolwork, able to mentally function and understand what's going on, etc. So in that result, if she's a 4.0er, the question becomes if she's always home, right, and she's doing it, but at the same time, then the judge is thinking, well, could this person ultimately do a job, when she hits 18, 19, 20, 21? So, based off of her capacity to do, essentially academia. Now, my question to you, which is highly relevant to this claim, how much are you helping her with her schoolwork?
I'm not helping her at all with schoolwork. I'm helping her with everything else, like tying her shoes, because she can't get bent down to tie her shoes. She can brush like the lower half of her hair. She can't brush the crown of her hair. Otherwise,
Okay.
she's in too much pain.
Okay.
And then she has a complete spinal fusion surgery in her future. The other downside is if you look at her, just looking at her, you wouldn't know. That's the other hiccup. You wouldn't know she has all these issues.
Mm-hmm.
It's not until you see her walk that you notice, oh, she's tippy-toe walking. And then you look at her x-rays and it is jarring, like very scary x-rays, 70-degree S-curve.
So why did you choose an in-person? Was that a judge's preferential or was that something else?
Judge's preferential.
Because a kid that looks like they're okay, you don't want to have an in-person. You want to have literally, All right.
She said she did say that we could do it over the phone next time. Normally she doesn't do that. She's willing to do it. She recommended another hospital to go to out of state. I messed up by telling her. I failed to tell her we don't have a car right now. I had actually sold it to be able to take care of her because I can hardly work.
Yeah, that's the kicker when it comes to
mentioned.
Kids. Yeah. All right. So, and the judge recommended another facility out of state to potentially go to that would specialize with her care?
Yes. Yes.
All right.
This was just off the record chit chat. That's
Okay.
the only saving grace of the whole thing was the judge was very friendly with us, even though she has a 26% approval record. And if you read anything about her, it said she's the meanest lady in the world.
Well, they tend to be that way. The meanest ones are super nice during the hearing, and then they're southern sweet as pie, and then they turn around and just maul you like a bear in the actual writing. So now that's going to be another thing that's going to scare a lot of disability attorneys away because they're going to have to do a bunch of work, and then unfortunately, low percent passage rate. All right. So how many?
We started this over a year ago.
Oh, that's a pretty quick ALJ. I mean, attachment. Most people wait 3 years. Yeah. So, I mean, that's fast. And again, another kicker. Another kicker is that it's an SSI. And for SSI claims, basically, there's not that much back pay in only a year. And, so, it's going to be tough to get an attorney on this one. I totally hear you. I used to do a lot of these kid claims too. And then I had to slow it down because the judges just wanted to deny. All right. So
let me tell you this real quick.
Yeah.
The attorney, he called us. The hearing was on a Tuesday. He called us the Sunday before. I said, do you want to know anything about Annie? He goes, oh, no, you're overthinking it. And I said, you don't want to know anything? Nothing. And he goes, no worries, mamas. You got nothing to worry about, mamas.
How would that? Wait, I don't want to ask. I do want to ask, but I shouldn't ask which firm this is and which attorney because, here's the thing. I had a hearing with a claimant that didn't show up, who I had to withdraw from, but then she found me at the homeless center, so I re-signed her back up 4 days before she had the hearing. Or maybe it was 5 days before she had the hearing. And then she didn't show up for the hearing. And I told the judge I didn't want to do an opening statement until I ran over everything with her. Because here's the thing about not getting to know, so here's the thing. If they're 14 or older, I talk to the kid. I won't represent a kid if they're 14 or older, I have to talk to them because I one time had this, I did a video about it too. I one time had this kid claim where this kid was adopted by a mom. And the kid came from high-level criminals that knew how to cheat, scandal, all that stuff. And she had the perfect Disney voice. And she convinced that judge that there was absolutely nothing wrong with her. Medical evidence was good. Medical evidence was pretty strong. But no matter what I did, with every question that questioned her, she found a way to make it seem like she was never in any pain or had any problems or got along with everybody, never got into fights at school. And all the shit was in black and white on the record. But she convinced the judge that she was all peachy and then she didn't get the benefits, which, not good for the stepmom kind of gig, but all right. So bottom line is,
Meanwhile, my kid is checking the notes and going, no, this is incorrect. They made a mistake here on her doctor's notes. And I'm like, jeez, I can't keep up with her.
How many RFCs have been filled out about the child's limitations?
What are RFCs?
RFCs, residual functional capacity assessment forms. They're basically forms. Just email me tomorrow or call me tomorrow and I'll send you one and you can use that.
Okay.
But you got to have at least one for a 26% pass judge. You got to have one on record, because otherwise it's very difficult to appeal. When the judges have an RFC on record from a specialist, even if they're low passage rate, they know that the appeal is coming, if they deny it. So, all right. How are we doing on time? Because we're at 13 minutes, so we're double. So just check in with me tomorrow and I'll shoot you one of the RFCs, and then I'll give you a quick explanation as to what to do with it. But remember, 26% 26% passage rate. You're going to have to prep a lot of stuff in a short period of time.
That's what I assumed.
Yeah.
I had assumed that.
Yeah. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll send you an email or call tomorrow. Thank
Perfect.
you. I appreciate it, too.
Thank you, Pam. You have a wonderful night.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Okay. All right. Bye.
Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. Also, remember to go ahead and mute the computer or phone or iPad. I guess it didn't hit the wrong button. That happens sometimes too, because people will call in, they'll hit the wrong button, and instead of mute, it'll be like the X out button. We'll see until somebody else calls in. Hold on. Click. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. What is your legal question? Go ahead.
Hello?
Yep. How you doing? Oh, so on the if you're watching me on your phone or the TV, you just have to go ahead and close the YouTube app on your phone or the TV because basically it does a feedback loop. Yeah.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear totally fine. Go ahead.
So I just actually started watching your YouTube channel today. I wanted to say you have the best information out there, hands down. So in 2020, I got hurt. I fell into a pothole. Okay. I tore my meniscus in my leg. My shoulders messed up, everything. I am in my early 30s.
Okay.
I've been denied 2 times. I just had a hearing back in February, was denied again.
Okay.
And they just appealed it, and now I have to wait an additional 12 months to be, I guess, for them to make a decision if I can see the judge again or not. I forgot what it's called.
Yeah.
But I did have a question because I've been searching. So right before I got into my accident, I wanted to go into the real estate field.
Sure.
So I feel like I do have a strong case. I have the evidence there. I think it's just one of those things where they're going to deny me and I'm going to come back, and I think I should be fine. Like I have a bunch of things going on with me. Medical, it's not getting any better. It's actually getting worse. I have to have more surgery and stuff. So I know that my time is coming. I feel like I have a strong case, but I also don't want to give up my real estate dream.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to know, when I do receive my benefits, because I'm speaking into the existence, how can I still be involved in real estate? Like I want to be a landlord. I want to own rental properties because I have a daughter.
Sure.
So I wanted to know your best advice on that.
So disability is really for people who can't work, but the goal is to have a bunch of properties that are managed by somebody else for you to have rental income coming in, because it's not counted against your SSDI benefits as traditional income. That's the goal. The problem is buying houses is extremely expensive now. And the thing that's even more expensive than that is the repairing of the houses. There used to be a time where you could hire somebody for $100 for the day to just do, wall work or, light fixture fixing and this and that, blah, blah, blah. Those individuals are now around $200 to $400 a day. And then on top of that, to buy the actual stuff that you need, it is extremely expensive. So when people tell me, oh man, food's really expensive, I'm like, have you been to Home Depot? Because that's a totally different level. So the problem you're going to run into is that, if you're found disabled, the expectation is that you're not going to be capable of working. And if you are, you have the 9-month trial work period. Then you have the extended eligibility period, like an extra 3-month boost. And then you have basically the 5-year ticket to work program. But keep in mind with real estate isn't the only way you really make money with real estate is if you own the real estate firm, or basically you're working for a giant group that constantly has people coming in that are getting assigned to you, and basically you're selling houses from that firm as the listing agent. Because if you're the showing agent, you don't get paid much anymore. You're talking like 1%, maybe 2%, whatever. So it forces everybody, when they want to go look at a property, to use the real estate agent that is the one that's listing it. So having your own real estate agent isn't the reality anymore, because that real estate agent doesn't want to get 1%. They want to get 6%. So that.
What about?
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
What about like just being like? I don't want to necessarily sell property or anything. I want to own my property and rent it out. Like, how would I go that route? Because, okay, so I'm going to be honest. I fell on a public property. They mishandled the area where I fell in. So I do have a lawsuit pending and incoming money coming in. So instead of, just it's sitting there, I'm trying to now figure out a different way so I can, my daughter's going to go to college in a few years. So I wanted to buy the property, rent it out, and be a landlord and get a property manager to deal with the everyday, day-to-day stuff. I wanted to know, am I still able to do that and be on SSDI?
Yeah, you can still do that, but there's a fine line. And what you want to do is buy whatever the property is that has as many rooms as possible. And the reason why is you want them to have to pay the utilities. But basically, you're talking a parking lot with a ton of rooms. And those rooms, you can rent out each room. You are going to have to go ahead and, of course, pay the real estate manager more money, for the more tenants. But the bottom line is, okay, how much money are we talking about that you're likely capable of having to go ahead and invest into a piece of property?
Well, so let's say if my lawsuit is going to be $600,000, I was going to purchase 1 or 2 properties, rental properties.
Okay, so if it's $600,000,
I live in, it should be on the web.
So basically, 33%. Well, if it goes to trial, it'll be 40. Will go to the attorney. And then you'll have some that goes to whoever the doctor was that you saw. So let's do some basic. Here, I'll do a quick little math thingy, and we'll see what your actual capacity for funds would be. Hold on. May have to grab. Well, no, I'm using the phone for the call. All right, so let's say 600,000 times 0.33333. Now, are you going to a trial with this thing, or is this still in the early stages?
It's. I think it's towards the end. It doesn't seem that they want to go to trial. I mean, this happened about 5 years ago, so it's at the end, and it seems like they don't want to go to trial. I think that they want to settle. So
yeah, but if you're at 5 years, your last token here, your last kick to make it happen, is we're threatening to go to trial. Let me calculate this off the 40%. Of them actually having to take this thing to trial, because realistically, that's probably where this could potentially go. So you take 240,000, minus basically the 600,000. So 600,000 minus 2,400 gives you basically $360,000. And then you take off a little bit for medical expenses throughout the process. So let's just say $330,000. What state do you live in?
So I live in New York.
Well, what part of a cheap part of New York or an expensive part of New York? Because there's no cheap parts.
I live in the cheap part. Brooklyn is still,
Brooklyn's
okay.
Expensive though. Brooklyn's
depending on which side. Like I live in not the nicest neighborhoods, but I do see and I have 2 friends that actually is in real estate too, that they're buying properties and fixing them up. So it's gonna,
Yeah, but you can't fix them up on this price. Like one of the things that I didn't realize when I did my rental home was the cost of repairs. I thought it was going to be like $80,000. We're way above $200,000 at this point.
And my dad he has his own construction, so I think I'm going to be okay as far as I have people to help me. It's just
I feel like I'm rushed now to make a different decision because of everything that's going on. This wasn't my plan. Like, I had a job. I've been there for 12 years.
Mhm.
I was planning on retiring there and everything. Now I'm trying to figure out something else to do because, I have children that's going to be going to college soon. And so I'm just trying to see if I'm still able to bring in some type of income.
So what you should do is absolutely not buy something in the city, because the costs of upkeep in the city will just consume a lot of the profit that you can potentially get out of it. What you want are small houses that are on one piece of land that are, by the suburbs, because you can get, college kids to rent those, other people to rent those, little old elderly couples to rent those. You want a piece of land with a bunch of little houses on it. Okay, so your main goal here is 330,000, piece of land, bunch of houses on it, and then Dad can help you with reconstructing or fixing, modifying any of the issues on it. All right, so yes, absolutely, and your dad can handle a lot of that stuff, and basically get them up to where they need to be. Quick question: when it comes to you in the city, what do you know about non-city properties? Because $330,000 isn't going to go very far in New York. What do you know about, like, just outside of this? What do you know about country-esque areas?
I'm going to look into other. I'm just using New York as an example because, like I said, I've just started thinking this route.
Yeah.
But I don't live far from New Jersey. I've looked in things into New Jersey that they have a bunch of land and stuff there. So it doesn't necessarily have to be in New York. I wanted to be in the tri-state areas where my dad and his team doesn't have to travel so far to fix things up. But the part that was confusing me was if I'm on the SSDI, like, does the rent count towards my income, or is that something that should I open up an LLC? I don't want to take up too much of your time, but these are just the questions that I'm not finding online. Like, I'm curious about it.
You don't, you want to have an LLC for liability purposes, but the problem is when you open up an LLC, that means you're a company owner and the funds are flowing through the company, which means that basically you are a business owner and you are an employee, which means they're going to look at those funds as you basically earning them, as opposed, and doing all functions of the management of it. So that's going to get you in trouble. Look, here's the thing: tri-state area. Or what do you consider the tri-state? Because most people think it's like Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey. Some people think it's other states. What do you see as a tri-state?
Well, I just didn't want to travel too far because, like I said, my dad, and he's going to be doing everything for free, so I don't want to just take it too far. I do like New Jersey, honestly.
Okay.
I like some of the multifamily homes they have out there. That's where I'm looking right now. Like I said, I'm just starting all of this, trying to figure out, but I just don't want my dad to travel out too far because I know he's willing to help me as much as possible, but I also want to be convenient to his time as well.
So, and the thing is, I present this to you. You have to gauge what you want your tenants to be like when it comes to their bad day and when something goes wrong, and whether or not they tear the faucet out of the wall or they, do this or do that or whatever. You've got to think about, where you want, because if you've only got $330,000 to invest, right, that's the game. And you could potentially use that to get a down payment on something bigger with more properties. You've got to really play the game and figure out, okay, how am I going to go ahead and maximize this the most? Because if you want to put that down on, say, a $500,000 property or an $800,000 properties, and then have a mortgage to pay every month, and you live in one of the houses, that's the goal you want to go with. But whatever you do, you do not want to be in any cities of New York, any cities of New Jersey, or really any cities of, Pennsylvania that are like Philadelphia. You don't want to be in that. You want to be in a spot where you can maximize profit. And those cities, if you buy something really small, it will grow in value significantly over a period of time, but you're not going to be able to access that money until you sell it.
Yeah.
So you want lots of rentals, lots of people, multiple incomes coming from each one of these. Yeah.
And sorry, just the last question. So when I start, so let's say if I was to get 350,000 and I found a house for 320,000 and I purchased it completely outright, because that could be a situation too. I've been looking down further Jersey in the country area.
Mm-hmm.
So if I was to have the house completely paid off and I have tenants move in, now when they pay the rent every month, does that count against me as income for SSDI?
So it's investment income. And it's not counted against
Mm-hmm.
you unless you're basically the one that's handling the business of it. So you have to have somebody else be the manager of it, receives the money for you, deposits it into your account, communicates to the, individuals on your behalf, all that stuff.
Oh, okay. So you just answered my question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect.
Perfect.
Okay, thank you so much, and I'm gonna follow you, and I'm gonna look more into you, and I appreciate you taking the time and doing this.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, madam. Have a wonderful, wonderful night.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. What is your legal question? Go ahead.
Hi.
Howdy.
Are you there?
Very good. Yep.
Okay. So my name is Linda. I have two questions for you. I'm on SSI, and I just recently had an in-depth review for, my CDR.
Sure.
And it was approved. However, I have an insurance,
Mm-hmm.
like for burial under my name for like, I think it's $5,000 value. And they said that wouldn't be an issue. But I also have two other ones that I didn't report, which were for my daughter and my grandson.
Mm-hmm.
And they have maybe a total of $5,000 value also.
Okay.
I'm just wondering if they find that out, how much trouble am I going to be in? Or will that dock my amount of my SSI that I get?
So burials are kind of interesting because it all depends on whose name they're actually in, and it depends on the amount against the resource limit. So when you say you have them for your kids, are they in your name or their name?
They're in their name. So it's in my daughter and my grandson.
Okay. So are they in a trust? Like, how are they set up?
No, they're just, I'm just billed every month by the insurance company. I'm not even sure if I just know their value is not more than $5,000. And they can't collect immediately. It's years down the road.
So usually the resource limit is like, $1,500 excludable, which means you can have up to $1,500 in worth for a burial, fund or resource or whatever. So, and you said you have a $5,000 one, right?
For myself, yeah. For myself. And he didn't seem to think that was a big deal. I didn't give him the name of the company because I didn't have the information in front of me when we spoke on the phone. But it's still I got a letter of approval and everything. So I hadn't contacted them back about that.
Is this a fund that you've paid into where you've already paid the $5,000 and they're holding it? Or is it how do they set it up?
Every month at like $29 a month payment.
Okay. Gotcha. So what happens if you stop paying?
Then I guess you lose that.
So you don't have a full ownership interest in this. You're basically just renting a spot if you pass away.
Yeah, I think basically that's how it is.
Okay. So in that instance, yeah, because some people have like a flat out piece of land that's in their name,
Yeah.
And but that's not this. This is just like your.
No.
Okay. So.
Like for whatever, if you get cremated or whatever, that's the amount you'll get when when you die or whatever.
Okay. So yeah, that's probably not going to hurt you. That'll be probably fine.
Okay.
But remember, if you start buying you have to be careful with like headstones and this and that, but you don't have an owner, like you couldn't claim, like, do you know the actual spot that it would be, or is it just like you're paying into this and they'll pick one out?
No, I'm just paying into the thing.
Okay.
I don't have an actual spot. I'm thinking probably I'm going to get cremated or whatever, so it'll be towards that. I don't know.
Okay. So just real quick, have they put these funds aside somewhere, or is it just like a membership club where you pay it and they don't really put them aside?
I don't I don't know exactly. I guess I should call the insurance company and double check with them maybe.
Because,
how
you
it's
know,
set up.
yeah, like if it's one of those things where when you pass away, they promise to cremate you or put you in a spot versus you pay a monthly fee and they put that aside. And if you have enough, they'll cremate you or put you in a spot. Those are two different financial setups, you know?
Okay, I think it's the second one that you were saying, but
So, I mean,
I'll double check with them. I just was
yeah,
curious.
because that
about
you
that.
could violate. Because if that's over 1,500, you know what I mean? That's going to
It
start
could be a
counting against
problem.
your resource. Yeah, limit. Yeah.
Okay, and then they could make you pay back money and stuff like that, right?
You get an
Or did you
overpayment for
do
each
that?
month that you were over the 1,500 and over the $2,000 resource. Yeah, because you got 1,500
Okay.
excluded, and then you got the $2,000 resource limit on top of that.
Okay, and then the other question that I had is, I know you're supposed to report if you get improvement, right, on your medical condition.
Sure.
And so my last appointment was, I don't know, probably 3 months ago. And I had a 20% improvement by, by a 6-minute walk and that type of test. So
Yeah.
I haven't reported an improvement to them yet. What are the chances that they'll kick you off because of that? I mean, I know it's relative, but they're not going to say, oh, you have a 20% improvement, so you're not eligible anymore, because I obviously am still disabled. I'm taking medication,
Right.
For that. So, I mean, it's never going to be cured what I have.
Right.
But, they're obviously they come up with more medications and stuff. So it has improved some, but I'm just wondering how relative I should call them. You have 30 days. I should report that, correct?
I would get another doctor's opinion, another test, just to validate it. Because remember,
Okay.
You could have had a good day there,
Right. That's what I'm saying too. Yeah, that could have been one of my good days that not, some days are better than others. And that's what I was thinking as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I have an appointment coming up in October. So I will talk to the doctor and have them reassess it again before I report.
Okay. Perfect. Sounds good. I will catch
Okay.
you. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your help.
Absolutely, madam.
Have a
Thank you
great
so
evening.
much. You too. Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Perfect. So we are at officially 36 minutes and 33 seconds. We're going to take one more because we're gluttons for punishment. Here we go. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot, Disability Resolution PA. What is your legal question? Go ahead.
Hi, this is Steve-O, and I'm calling because back in December 2023, following a serious motorcycle accident,
Okay.
I applied for disability or SSDI.
Okay.
And after that, a couple of months later, my case was transferred to the state adjudication service.
Okay.
And it's been stuck there for about 7 or 8 months due to a staff shortage.
Mhm.
But here lately, I've been running a risk of losing my home, and I've been, strapped for cash. And my wife, she gets SSDI, but it ain't very much. And by the time she pays the basic bills and everything, it's like we don't have nothing left.
Mhm.
And I have been thinking, it's a possibility that I might be able, even though I got some pretty serious conditions, to maybe get with some kind of accommodation, a little 2 or 3 day a week part-time job. But I'm wondering if that's going to hurt me against my case if I get something like that to try to help me and her out as far as our funds go.
The SSA likes when people attempt to work and then get fired because that tells them that the person can't do simple jobs. So if you want to go get jobs and see what you can do, go for it. But, if it's past 3-4 months, then you're talking about, long-term work. Whereas 3-4 months, you're just testing out a job. You get fired, that shows that you're disabled to some degree. It helps the evidence. With that said, you should call the local churches, religious institutions, and see if any of them cover basically your, monthly rental or monthly mortgage payment. That'll give you basically a little bit of money to keep yourself ahead so that you don't get stuck with that bad situation. Look, the average claims right now for decision points are usually like 17, 18 months at initial filing level. Some of them go faster. If you're truly really running out of money and you can't pay and you're looking at potentially eviction situations, there's a statute I want you to write down and go look up and read about it. It is I, as in igloo, -2-1-40, subsection A, subsection 5 for DRND, which is basically homeless or potentially future homeless. That's the kind of thing you want to look into for potentially expediting the claim. But with that said, you want to see if there's local groups that will go ahead and assist, county groups, religious groups, with your mortgage, stuff like that. They even have food bill helpers. And then the other thing is, if you really want to push, you can see if you can reach out to a manager of a DDS rep and get them to go ahead and reassign it to a person that might be able to be faster. But at the end of the day, massively low staff problems. They can't get people because they can't pay them enough.
Yeah, and the thing that I was going to say, we've been looking into different, churches and different, places, that help out, people in a tough situation like we're in. And we've been going to food banks just about twice a week or every weekend.
Yeah.
And even though before this accident, I was seriously, and I've always been seriously involved, and I have a lot of friends in the motorcycle community, and they're looking into doing a fundraiser, like a motorcycle benefit ride for me and my spouse. But with all that said, at the same time, we have a close friend of our family that's a manager, like at a little small store. And she said, I might be able to accommodate you and get you into a little job where you only work 2 or 3 days a week and no more than that with your condition, to get you a little bit of help as far as, getting a little check every week. But I don't want that to hurt you with your disability application, your chance of getting it. And you would still be under the 1550 threshold, she said, by only working 2 or 3 days a week. But I wanted to ask about that, before I even attempt to take in that job, if I'm able to do it.
Mm-hmm. The thing is, what you've got to be really careful with is that if you go that route, and you do that stuff, you have to have an exit strategy figured out, because if you're working that for over 3 to 4 months, that's going to hurt your claim.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, and the way things are right now with the shortage of staff and everything, the case could take, like you yourself said a minute ago, anywhere, from 12 to 18 months in some cases, even longer, when if I get stuck in something like that and I start doing it, more like you said, than 2 or 3 months, then they're going to think that I'm able to work, and that I should just try harder. So therefore, I'm going to reconsider that, but I'm definitely going to look into what you told me to look at a while ago, and everything, as well as keep checking with other charities and help from family if we can and stuff like that, and do everything possible to try to save her home.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, sounds good, sir. I will catch you later. You have a wonderful, wonderful night, okay?
You do the same. Thank you, Walter.
Thank you, good sir. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Alrighty, everybody, that is the show. Attorney Walter Hnot. Please remember, if I helped you out throughout this process, I got to catch up with you. I do have to catch up with you. Sweetie is doing well. She's actually over there. So just so you guys know how my week started on Tuesday, Sweetie, I took her outside. My pool is green because I was pissed off at my old pool guy who just wasn't doing what he was supposed to be doing. And I was trying to fix it and do this, and it just wasn't happening. So anyways, I walk outside because I just get back from Fort Lauderdale where they did the surgery on her. And I walk outside, I see the pool, and it's super green. And what does Sweetie do? She sees bubbles in the pool. So she runs over and jumps into the pool right after surgery. So the veterinarians wanted to strangle me. That's what happened basically, literally right before I started work on Tuesday after the holiday weekend. And so then I had to put all these special creams on her and these special things and wash her 3 times and blah, blah, blah. She's doing well now. She's doing really well. But that was how my week started. It's actually been a really rough week because of a lot of accounting stuff and trying to get the taxes done for the early or the late, tax reporting stuff. But I do have to catch up with Pi. I'm glad to see you there. You're doing well. All right. So with that said, everybody, if you do want to, and these videos help you, please consider going to Google, typing in Disability Resolution Law Firm or Disability Resolution Florida, and throwing some stars up there. With that said, we do have the mini thing where if we couldn't answer your question or you have a specific question, it's going to take a little while. There's the bio link below for just doing the mini contract. It's simple. You do the payment through PayPal or whatever, and then you're good to go. We put you up on the hearing calendar. Other than that, Attorney Walter Hnot, please remember to like and subscribe. And if you have questions that you really want me to take a look at, go ahead and send me an email with them. I can't get to all of them because you remember I'm an actual working disability attorney. I work all day, all the time. I actually have to go and work right over there, basically doing some additional initial filings tonight with an early wake up tomorrow. So it is what it is, but I will catch you all a little bit later. You have a wonderful, wonderful night, and we will go from there. Comment, creator, how do you do all of this, Walter? It's not basically not enough sleep. So, and I won't be able to do it forever. I'm just telling you up front, like once I'm getting close to that 40 mark where the body just kind of slows down a little bit, like, you can't do 3-hour, 4-hour nights all the time like you used to. It just doesn't work anymore. But anyways, I will catch you all a little bit later. You have a wonderful, wonderful night. I'm super thank you to Pi for the $5 donation, and I'll catch up with you guys down the road. Have a wonderful night, and we'll go from there. Thank you so much. All right. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.